PJ, and what was it like going from player to interviewing for a position coach job?
It was very interesting. It was a lot of ball talk and then a lot of fill me in on your journey talk. What have you learned since you've been gone? How much have you grown? And I got a chance to really thank him for everything that I learned in the culture that kind of attributed to me becoming a better coach. So I told him about my time at Oregon, about my time while I was still at Akron, and then my time at Charlotte with Marcus West. So it was good to be able to kind of fill him in on everything, but also show him how much I've grown as a man. So it was excellent, but it was different from being a player in the sense that this is business. This is serious. And now I'm transitioning from a point where I was the guy on the roster, and now I have to raise and groom and, continue to forge the guys on this roster. So it was cool to say the least.
Joe talked about kind of you being the ultimate overachiever as a player, saying you had no business being a starter for 4 years in the Big Ten. But you talked about the way you were able to do it and what made you successful. How do you try to bring that out in some of the players you're not coaching?
Well, it starts with technique, right, and attention to detail. And we talk about just teaching styles and how to be an elite teacher in this program. So I feel like as a player, I was very fortunate to have Coach Rossi teach me how to be a detailed teacher and how to learn in a detailed fashion. So we talk about taking categorical notes. We talk about utilizing highlighters, color coding notes, using imagery, and different things like that. So being able to come back into the program and do the same thing with these guys and kind of continue to grow as a teacher, learning with Coach Rossi every day, because it's different now. He's coaching you okay when you're 19, 20 years old, but now you're alongside him as a coworker, right? And kind of like an understudy, because one day, right, I want to be like Coach Rossi. He doesn't like me pumping his head up too much. You know, this kind of guy he is. He's very modest. He's humble.
Newcomer coordinator?
Yes.
What are your duties with that? What do you hope to accomplish?
So now with this transfer portal deal and the freshmen, it's my job in order to kind of bridge everybody into the culture. So whether it's cultural terms or helping guys find the right place to go, or even this week it was helping guys find a barbershop, right? Or a barber that they wanted to come up in here and cut their hair. Just helping them get used to our culture, the way that we do things, and consistently building them up. I think that's a kind of portion that a lot of people forget about. It's that 6 a.m. text like, hey man, you're gonna have an elite day, right? Let's make sure that we're in class on time and that you're achieving everything that you need to achieve that the culture dictates. So I'm like a freshman quote unquote head coach or a transfer quote unquote head coach when it comes to doing all those detailed things.
PJ was talking about your teaching style. Where does your passion for teaching and developing others come from?
This is a funny story. So my master's is in youth development and leadership, and I'm gonna say this right now. Coach Fleck told me recently he knew I was gonna become a coach before I knew I was gonna become a coach. When I was done, I was driven to play in the NFL, and then I didn't know what was gonna happen after COVID, but I had went to school and did everything that I needed to do in all 4 areas of my life to achieve somewhere, right? So I take the master's program in youth development and leadership here at the U, and they teach me so many different things, and now all of a sudden I'm in my field work going into these classrooms, and I'm like, wow, I love teaching these kids. I'm around 4th graders, 3rd graders, all the way up to 8th graders, and I'm like, okay, well, this is what keeps their attention. This is what continues to keep them engaged, and then this is what makes them want to come back for more. And I mess with my guys all the time because I'm like, you guys are just, you're big babies, and you guys don't even know it. But the truth of that statement is you're always continuing to learn, and you've got to be able to keep these guys' attention spans 100% of the time. If you can't be an engaging teacher that keeps guys wanting to come back for more, you're not going to fare very well in this coaching game. So that's what I attribute a lot of my success. Embrace your past to create your future. So when I feel myself needing to ask questions about maybe how I should handle a certain situation, I can lean on Antoine Winfield Jr. I can lean on Carter Coughlin. I can lean on Kamal Martin. And that's a plus that we have with me being able to come back. I love it. I love the fact that we've achieved so much, but something that I tell my room all the time is, hey, right, the prices went up. So your job now is to be better than we were, right? So continuing to push them and etch that on is going to be the biggest thing in the whole wide world. But at the end of the day, they tend to not want to hear what the old Golden Gopher wants to say about 2019 all the time. So it's really fun being able to say, hey, I sat in those seats, and we're going to get even more out of you, right, than they got out of me.
Do you see